So the topic of today's video is, as the title suggests, Adam Warlock, the power of Adam Warlock. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and any thoughts you'll have about this video. Now, let us go through a couple of categories which will help us properly determine the power of this character. We shall be beginning with the category of physical strength. How strong is Adam Warlock? Well, to properly understand the physical strength levels of Adam Warlock, you must understand how physically strong are the people that he beat. People like the Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, especially focusing on Drax, Groot, and maybe you can say Nebula and Mantis as well. So let's start with Nebula and Mantis. See, Nebula, Mantis, and Gamora, they are physically strong. They can be seen to be physically stronger than the ordinary human being. They aren't exactly like super soldier level strong in my personal opinion, but they are stronger than the ordinary human being. But then you get Groot and Drax. These two characters are at a completely different level in terms of physical strength when comparing them to Nebula and Mantis and Gamora. Let's say like this, okay? Captain America is a super soldier. He's one of the strongest super soldier in the actual MCU. He has had a lot of different moments which actually portray his physical strength. Like, for instance, him going toe-to-toe with powerful characters like Black Panther, Iron Man, and even Thanos the Mad Titan himself. There's that incredible helicopter scene where he's capable of actually pulling back or holding the helicopter, preventing it from flying away. That actually requires a lot of physical strength. So he is incredibly physically strong. Now, Drax is either on par with Captain America's physical strength or stronger than him, which means all the things that Captain America has portrayed to us, all the different feats that he has, Drax can definitely do them himself, and possibly even do them with much more ease than Captain America even showed he could do, which means he would most likely last a bit longer if he had the skills levels of Captain America when facing off against Thanos, given that Captain America himself was capable of momentarily even holding back Thanos. So Drax can be seen to be slightly above the physical strength levels of his super soldier. Well, Groot, on the other hand, in my personal opinion, is much greater than that. He's definitely physically stronger than Captain America and definitely physically stronger than Drax himself, given that he's able to destroy multiple mechanisms, throw people around like they are absolutely nothing. His physical strength is definitely above the likes of Captain America and above the likes of Drax. Now, that would, in my opinion, put him on par with the physical strength levels of other characters like Iron Man. The reason I am saying that is because Captain America himself was capable of holding his own in terms of physical strength when facing off against Iron Man. Drax is slightly stronger than Captain America, or more or less on par with the physical strength levels of Captain America, which means he'd most likely also be capable of pushing back and holding his own against Iron Man in terms of physical strength. And if Groot is definitely above the physical strength levels of both these characters, then he's definitely doing way better when facing off against Iron Man in terms of physical strength. Kind of portrays the levels of physical strength that Groot actually has. And the fact that Iron Man has faced off against a lot of different powerful characters. He's faced off against the Hulk, he's faced off against Thor, he's faced off against the Mad Titan Thanos himself, and he's actually been capable of hurting and pushing these different characters back. That portrays his levels of physical strength are incredibly high. Groot can be seen to be more or less on that level of physical strength, whilst Drax also can hold his own against that levels of physical strength. That is where they more or less lie in terms of physical strength. And now Adam Warlock is someone who is definitely above the physical strength levels of these different characters. His physical strength is definitely above the levels of both Drax and above the levels of Groot, given that we actually saw his levels of physical strength and how actually incredibly physically strong he truly is. Now, if he is easily above the physical strength levels of Drax and of Groot, that would not just put him on par with Iron Man, but most likely would put him above the physical strength levels of Iron Man, which means now he's on par with other god tier characters in terms of physical strength. God tier characters, for example, like Thor, the god of thunder himself. And the fact that he was capable of actually breaking Mantis's hand with absolute and utter ease is quite remarkable, given that Mantis and some of the other Guardians can be regarded to be superhuman, which means they are stronger and faster and more durable than the ordinary human being. That does amp up his physical strength even greater. And the fact that Adam Warlock was physically strong enough to make Drax bleed is a remarkable feat to consider, given the durability levels of Drax. He's the same person who laughed off bullets, took blows from Ronan, and took blows from the Mad Titan Thanos, and yet this is the very first time he's actually bled. That is where I believe Adam Warlock lies in terms of physical strength. Now, in terms of speed, the more or less same thing can apply, with his speed being on par with those godlike characters, and given that his flying speed is also quite remarkably fast, that also obviously amps him up even more. In terms of durability, he is incredibly durable. Again, as I stated, Drax is someone who is on par or stronger than the physical strength levels of someone like Captain America, who held back the helicopter, held his own against Iron Man, and also held his own against the Mad Titan Thanos. Drax is more or less on par with those physical strength levels, and Groot is even greater than those physical strength levels, yet none of the attacks they attacked Adam Warlock with really truly hurt him. They more or less just pushed Adam Warlock back a bit, but they didn't have any long-lasting effects on his physical body. Nebula blasted him, Quill also blasted him, and he really had no true reaction to these actual powerful attacks. Yes, he was stabbed after that by Nebula, but nonetheless the other attacks the Guardians struck him with had almost no effect on him. So his levels of durability are incredibly high, because I could put him on par with the durability levels of someone like even Iron Man himself. And this character has taken a lot of blows from a lot of different characters like Captain America, like the Hulk, like Thor, and like Thanos the Man Titan himself. And then in terms of hand-to-hand combat, well, to be honest, he doesn't really have any levels of hand-to-hand combat. He is a child, he's barely lived, he doesn't have hand-to-hand combat, but he does have power. His power is actually quite remarkable. He has more or less lasers or kind of like light abilities which allow him to attack his enemy in a very, very cool and powerful way and dangerous way. And I'm saying this because he was capable of absolutely demolishing Groot, and I mean he demolished Groot. He left him as a head. Okay, a head. That truly shows how powerful his abilities are. You might not think that's not an incredible feat, but it actually is. The reason why I'm saying that is because Groot has taken so many blasts from so many different characters, and in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the reason the Guardians even survived was because of Groot and his levels of durability being so high. They were capable of surviving a massive explosion. Groot's levels of durability are incredibly high, and Adam Warlock was capable of just demolishing him because of Adam Warlock's powers. That was the main factor that actually assisted him in actually beating Groot. The powers that he has. His powers are quite dangerous and quite powerful. Now, rounding everything up, right, his physical strength and speed would more or less be on par with characters like Thor, the God of Thunder. His durability would be, in my opinion, more or less around the same levels of Iron Man, possibly slightly higher. And then in terms of power, his power is quite dangerous, quite deadly, and can hurt a lot of different powerful characters. I could put it on par with maybe Vision's lasers or even Icarus's lasers. That's how powerful his lasers most likely are. Of course, we will see more of him in later on movies in the MCU. We didn't really get to see much of him or much of his powers, and when we get to see a bit more of him, we'll probably have an understanding of how truly powerful this character is. And the fact that he actually got released from his pod before time, yet he is still this powerful, actually proves how truly powerful Adam Warlock is, or could have been. Anyway, that's my video on the power of Adam Warlock. If you have any comments or thoughts about this, y'all can leave them down below. This is MC Info, and I'm out.